Today we are going to be talking about lesson 5-2, which is rates, okay, which we do have two vocabulary words today. If you notice, they're up there at the top. The first one is rate, which is a ratio that compares two quantities measured in different units. That's like, could be like miles per hour, okay, because you're comparing miles to hours, okay? A unit rate is a rate in which the second quantity in the comparison is 1. And that's what we're going to be working on today, really, is finding our unit rates for the most part. Okay, let's take a look at our first example here. Example 1 says Sonia's heart beats 675 times in 5 minutes. How many times does it beat per minute? Okay, so the question is asking us how many times does it beat per minute. So we're looking for, how many times does it beat in 1 minute? Well, the first thing we need to do is identify how many heartbeats for how many minutes. Well, we have 675 times in 5 minutes. So we'd have 675 right there over 5 minutes. Okay, now we're going to do our work right here, okay, because we need to get it down to be 1 minute. Okay, so we're going to have 675 over 5. Now, what I need to do is I need to figure out what do I have to divide 5 by to get it to be 1? Yeah, I have to divide it by 5, and I have to do the same thing to the top as well. So in order to solve this one, I really need to divide 675 divided by 5. Well, 675 divided by 5 is going to be 135. So my answer to that question, it asked me how many times does it beat per minute? Well, that's going to be 135 times in 1 minute. That's our unit rate, because we found out that it's beating 135 times in 1 minute. Okay? Let's take a look at our second example. Our second example says to make 4 large pizzas, Paul needs 14 cups of pepperoni. How much pepperoni does he need for 1 large pizza? Okay, well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to identify the information that I have. Right now, we know that 14 cups makes 4 pizzas. So we'll have 14 cups right here, and that makes 4 pizzas. Okay, but we're trying to figure out how many cups does it need to make 1 large pizza. So we're going to have right now 14 cups for 4 pizzas. What do we have to divide 4 by to get it to be 1? Yeah, I have to divide it by 4, so I'm going to also have to divide 14 divided by 4. Well, I know that when I divide 14 divided by 4, it's not going to come out evenly. Okay, so that's going to give me 3, which gives me 12, the leftover of 2. So I'm going to take that remainder that I have right there. I'm going to put it over the number that I divided by. So I'm going to have 3 and 2/4. Well, what does 2/4 equal? Yeah, 1/2, because I know that 2 goes into both the 2 and the 4. So if I divide 2 divided by 2, I get 1. If I divide 4 divided by 2, I get 2. So I'm going to have 3.5. So I know that I need 3.5 cups of pepperoni to make 1 large pizza. Okay? Questions on that? Excellent. Then let's take a look at our last example here, number 3. Number 3 says the Lawsons want to drive 288 miles to Rainbow Falls in 6 hours. What should their average speed be in miles per hour? Well, I know it tells us that we want to drive 288 miles in 6 hours. Okay, so again, I have 288 over here in 6 hours, and I need to figure out how many I'm going to drive in 1 hour. So what do I have to divide 6 by to get 1? Yeah, so I need to divide both of these guys by 6, which if I divide 288 divided by 6, how many times does 6 go into 28? Which gives me 24. Left over a 4. I'll drop down my 8 here. How many times does 6 go into 48? 8 times, which gives me 48, which is done. So I know that I'm going to have to drive 48 miles in 1 hour in order to drive 288 miles in 6 hours. Questions on that one? No, we're going to divide every one of these. In order to go from, we're going to divide every time on these. That's how we find our unit rate, because we need to figure out how much 1 is going to be.